amount of, I'm not getting the amount of foam I should be getting out of my foam gun. I've tried running water through it, I tried running a little simple green through it. Nothing seems to be working, so I think I'm going to have to take it apart and see if it's clogged or whatnot. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of suction at the bottom of the straw. I'm using enough soap. It was working just fine, so I think it's just clogged. So I'm going to have to take it apart and see if we can't get more foam out of it. This is my MTM Foam Cannon. As you saw from the earlier video, it stopped squirting foam. So I'm going to take it apart and see where it's clogged. We're going to start by removing the feed hose. That's just on there with the knurled connection that just pull right off. And then I'm going to use a little screwdriver and pop the top off to get to the adjustment screw. Okay, pop that off. That looks like about a 4mm. That comes off. And this is a square drive underneath here, and there's a square on the inside of there, on the inside of the adjustment knob, and that's how this adjustment's made. I'm just going to leave the screw in here for right now, put that to the side. Alright, next, this pin slides out to remove the front adjustment. That slides out. These are your blades here that adjust your the in and out for your spray. And I'm pretty sure these just slide off. Those don't seem to want to come off, and it does seem to kind of be rotating around those pins. I'm not sure how to get those pins out though, because I don't think they go in all the way. Oh, you just pull them right out. There's one on that side, one on that side. They're real little. They look like they go in the same, they look like they're the same both directions. Yep, that comes right off. You put that to the side. The 2 pins. Now it does say in the directions that you're supposed to flush this with water after every use. I definitely don't do that. Maybe I should start. I'm going to take the front end of it off. There's a screen inside here, which looks pretty clean from this side. See if I can pop it out and see what it looks like from the other side. There's the mesh filter, and that looks pretty clean. I don't really see anything built up on it. I'm going to blow through it. A bunch of water came out of it, and it blows fairly clear, so I definitely don't think that's the culprit. There's the opening, it's nice and clear. So I'm going to push that back through and see what we got. Seated back in. You can look, I don't know if you can see it in there, but you can see straight down through there. Let's go like this. See the light in there. That's, you know, it looks pretty straight, pretty clean straight through. So maybe it's the feed up from the bottom. So I guess we just keep taking parts off till we figure it out. So it's either, I think it's either from the adjustment on the top or from the feet up from the bottom. I'm going to take the adjustment from the top off next. I probably should have figured out what size all these were and used real wrenches instead of a crescent wrench, but it is what it is. These are pretty tight, and probably having it like this in a bench vise or something would make it a lot easier to take apart. I'm losing leverage with every piece I take off. Little vice grips, I'm going to pull this adjuster out. You know, what the instructions with it did come with an exploded diagram, which I don't know, isn't super useful. It might be useful putting it back together, but as of right now, it doesn't really tell you what to take apart first or anything like that. So this unscrews, and that's just like a needle, almost like in a carburetor. So the more that comes out, the more it allows, water to pass, which makes it pull less of whatever you're spraying. I'm just going to kind of seat that in there a little bit right now, but that doesn't seem to do it. Next thing, I want to take this bottom piece off because I think that might be where it's at. I had just tightened this up too. I put Teflon tape in here because this was loose. Every time I went to loosen my bottle, this would come unscrewed. So, but I'm gonna have to go grab a channel locks and to pull that off. All right, so I got a channel lock. I'm just gonna wrap the this little piece of towel around it so I don't mar up the brass. There's a very fine hole in there, so I'm going to find a needle or something to run through there with the old Teflon tape. I'm going to take this, clean this off, and have to put some fresh stuff on there. Alright, that's clean for the most part. And I can see straight through that hole. Here's just a sewing needle. And that passes cleanly through the hole until it gets to the eye. So I don't think that's the problem either. So I guess we'll just keep moving on. Next, I'm going to take this whole front piece off. I think that's where the other jet is. I'm going to remove this O-ring first so I don't damage it with the channel locks. Just going to slide that down. Just take that off. This might get difficult if I don't have anything to grab onto anymore. I wonder if I don't know if there's an O-ring or something there, because that's very tight. It looks like there's some sort of Teflon or Teflon paste in here as well. So there's that piece. That's pretty straight through. Nothing interesting in there. Lots of dry Teflon in there though. I'll have to clean those threads up before I put it back together. Looking down inside this piece, it still looks pretty clean. Guess I'll just keep taking this block apart until I get it figured out. This is going to get difficult. That broke free, so that's good. There's more Teflon tape in here as well. So this looks pretty straight through. That looks clean all the way through. So that's not it. Here is our adjuster that comes up. And that looks clean. So that's not it. Kind of at a loss here. There's a little hole in there, but that looks fairly clean. Oh, and there is a jet this way that removes, so I guess I'll have to take this end off as well. And there's definitely something in here. Some little like dried rust and stuff. I'm gonna get another screwdriver and come back after it. All right, we're gonna pull this this jet out. You can see the tip of the jet through this opening, and that's the only place I'm seeing any real rust or anything. This is all pretty, all these openings are all pretty big in here. So this tiny little jet, this is where your feed water comes through, and it looks pretty clean, but I'm gonna take a needle to it and see if I can't. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty clean, so I'm not really seeing any real clogs anywhere. And I'm hoping maybe just this, having this cleaned up, will do the trick. Everything else I'm seeing, like I said, is all pretty. Everything else is pretty open. Only thing that's maybe, I'm not sure, this this mesh filter, how good that's supposed to flow, but and that's straight through. Everything else is pretty clean. There is a little hole here, like I said, on top of this that it sucks up through. Yeah, nothing looks clogged though. So I'm going to put it all back together and we'll go from there. Alright, so we cleaned up most of the threads. I'm going to put this back together now. So I got my Teflon tape. Hopefully I have enough. When I Teflon tape anything, I go around 3 to 4 full revolutions, and you have to go around in the direction so that when you tighten it, you have like a tail, you know, the open edge won't get caught. So you have to do it like you're tightening. So that's 1, 2, 3, and that should be good. And then I try to keep it as tight as possible so you have nothing that's going to get over the front edge to catch or anything like that. So this is all going to go into my main block here. So this one goes into here. So in taking this apart, I was trying to figure out how it worked some more, and the main way that it works is this valve here, and there is this works kind of like a needle. This goes up and down, and as this goes up, it allows more air to come through these holes, and the more air means less suction. So the less suction, the less suction, the less it's going to suck out of through the straw. So this part seals where that is, seals against this green O-ring in here. So I think this is the most important part of how it works. This one's real narrow, so sometimes you can kind of scrunch it up or kind of apply it on at a little bit of an angle to keep it from overlapping into your open area. 2, 3, and you just kind of pull it to break it. You can use putty too. I'm just more familiar with the tape, and that's what I have right now. But the putty works well also. I've had a couple things where the tape wouldn't seal it, and tried it a bunch of different times, and the putty ended up working out well. So keep that in mind. Alright, that's tight. There's an O-ring here. I just kind of make sure that I push that O-ring down there. I think it's more for feel than it is for actually sealing anything. Because these are all pretty open, these holes here. So I don't think that I don't think it meters, these holes really meter. I think it's just kind of open to atmosphere. I guess we can, we'll put our bottom part on now. This part is next. This also has a pretty narrow thread, so you want to, it's wide, but if you kind of pull it, you can kind of get it to scrunch a little bit, fit on the threads better. See, it's kind of just make sure you keep it off the face, and if you get it on there, you can kind of roll it back, and then it'll kind of stay. This was the one that I used the towel for to prevent the brass from getting all marred up. The block got a little bit marred up, but it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to use this paper towel I got here. Now we just got the front part to put back on. So we got this kind of extension piece, and I'm not quite sure what these holes do, because this piece fits in here. Maybe it vents a little bit of air. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so that's on, and then this have this O-ring on, and I think that's for, I think that kind of rides inside here to give it a little bit of a smoother feel. That O-ring's back on. This is where our stainless steel kind of crushed wire filter was. My Teflon tape on there, nice and smooth. It's not very tight. Hopefully there's enough Teflon tape on there. And these little impressions here, these little reliefs, are where our little pins go for the flaps. And how these work is when you turn it, it squeezes in like this, and that's what changes how broad or narrow your spray pattern is. So this just fits on there like that, and that, and the little pins just go in there, and that's it. That's 1 and 2, and that's on. Oh, we left out our jet. That's going to be a problem. That goes back on this side, so I have to take that back off. But while we're here, there we go. That's on all the way, and I'm just going to test it. That's open and closed. So open, and the pin, here, look, the pin just slides across like this, and it prevents the black piece from coming off. So there you go. That's on. And pin goes in, and open and close. That's working good. So this piece goes on here with our, it's kind of a cap for that, but I need to take this back off and put the jet back in. So the tape gets all crushed. I'm gonna have to clean that out and put the tape back in. But that threaded area down in there is where the jet goes. and that didn't appear to have any Teflon on it when I did it, so. I'm just going to Teflon this one, although this is just kind of a cap, I think, to hold the adjustment in. I don't know that had Teflon on it. You can just see some remnants of it, so I'll put some on there. If you kind of hold it until you get it around once, then it stays on. And we still have some sunlight left today, so I'll probably go test this out. All right, then the square cut out there fits this square here. Fits all the way in, way out. Feels good. This is our 4mm Allen screw. That's snug. Cap back on. There you go. And reattach our hose. And we should be good to go. It's all back together, all Tefloned up. So we're gonna try it out, see if it works. All right, so it's all back together, loaded up on the Karcher pressure washer. Got my mix in there, normal mix. So let's see if taking it apart and putting it together. Like I said, taking it apart and putting it together, I didn't really see anything clogged or noticeably wrong. So let's see how this goes. That's better. So you can see, used half to 3/4, about 2/3 of a bottle, which is what I usually end up using. And the foam, the consistency I like, not too thick. I want it to run a little bit with a little bit of time, but I also want it to sit on there, and that looks perfect. That's how I want it. After a couple minutes, it starts to hopefully loosen any dirt and pull it off as it moves down. So now that we're back to having foam again, I'm going to just continue my maintenance wash as normal. Then I'll hit the wheels and we'll go from there.